Hi, welcome to Pizzetti.com. This is our very first video we've ever done, so bear with us. We kind of pre-measured everything out, and this is a free video for you guys to get going on your very first pizza, and hopefully we do it right for you. Recipe here calls for flour, water, yeast, salt. We're using diastatic malt instead of sugar, and you can use either one, doesn't matter. I used to use diastatic malt because it gives it a little bit of browning, and it makes the crust a little chewier. Now this particular dough recipe we're making is strictly for your home oven. Okay, so it's an easy first time video. If you have any questions, you can always drop us an email at pizzetti.com. I mean, you can share and like this if you'd like. Up to you. First time video, you might say, oh my God, is that thing awful? But we're doing it here in my home kitchen, and looking forward to presenting you with new recipes, tricks, tips, ideas, and just a general camaraderie of people that want to make pizza at home. You know, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be really simple, and that's what we're aiming to do. So with that being said, let's get going and mix our stuff together. We're using King Arthur baking flour. It's a 00 flour, which is very fine flour, which is gives a good chew and can make a real nice thin crust pizza for you. Diastatic malt, like we talked about before. It is a simple sugar basically, and that's what it does. You can use that, honey, or regular old table sugar. We have some Pompeian Organic olive oil. Doesn't have to be organic. But that helps with the browning and helps keep the dough flexible. And then Fleischmann's active yeast, which actually we're going to pour it into the small container right now and make sure that it gets activated, because we don't want to add dead yeast to our pizza mixture. So we always like to activate it first. So with that being said, here's my yeast. Add that to a starter set of water, and we measure everything out in grams. What we're using here is 453 grams of 00 flour, which is in a brown bowl. We've got 70 grams of warm water, which I just poured the yeast into. 2.2 grams of active yeast, 10 grams of diastatic malt, sugar or honey, whichever you choose, 210 grams of cold water, and 10 grams of sea salt, and 5 grams of olive oil. We like to use sea salt because sea salt's a natural salt to water, and it dissolves a lot easier and helps prevent mixing with the yeast and causing it to go bad, because yeast and salt don't go together very well. So sometimes if you add them together, the salt can kill the yeast. So that's why we like to activate it first. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and mix all of our ingredients together and make our first dough ball. As you can see, the flour's already in the bowl, so we're adding the cold water. We're adding our little bit of yeast that's left in the bowl. Don't want to waste any of it. Add our salt. And we'll add our diastatic malt. And then we'll give this a little mix with our hand. It's going to be a little sticky, but as you mix it, it becomes a little more flaky, and once you add all the rest of the ingredients, it'll all come together really nice. This is not a one-day dough. I can send you a dough recipe that says one-day dough. This is more of a fermenting type dough, because we like to get it mixed up here and get a little shaggy. What we'll do with this is, once we get it a little shaggy, we'll let it absorb some of the water. We'll wait for our yeast to activate, and then once the yeast activates, we add that together. We'll start mixing this together. Now, what we're going to want to do is put it in a big bowl, which we've already got, and we're going to want to put a cover on it with a wet, moist towel over the top of it to keep it from drying out. And then we are going to put it in a dry, warm place Preferably we put it in the oven or put it in the sunlight in your kitchen counter. And once we've done that, we're going to add our olive oil now. And the olive oil is, we just pour a little mix in that. And the olive oil helps keep it from sticking, and it also helps it brown, gives it a little flavor, nutty flavor. Everybody likes to have on their pizza. Once it gets mixed up into here, we'll wait until our yeast is done, which is, as you can see, it's starting to foam. Once it starts to foam, you can add your yeast. That means it's activated. If it doesn't start to foam, it means it's dead yeast, and you got to get rid of it and find some good yeast. This type of yeast is good for about 6 months in the refrigerator. So anything you want to use, you can always buy the little packages too that keep it from wasting any. See how moist and now for different climates and different atmospheres and different altitudes, you're going to have to add or subtract from the flour as you use it. Ours is really moist right now, so we're going to add a little bit more flour to activate it. So we just take a little bit, sprinkle it in until it becomes, we don't want it dry, but what we like to do is have it form a nice ball so that when it rises in about an hour, see, it's starting to come together here. And you're probably saying right now, my God, this guy's making a god-awful video. It's going to go viral because it's funny to look at. So it's got a good high moisture content. Just kind of, we're going to add a little bit more. And one of the reasons we want to do it in grams is because if you do it by cups, cups don't measure as well. Teaspoons don't measure as well. You should always measure everything in grams. If you don't, you end up risking the dough recipe not being right, and then when it comes time to roll it out, you start going, why is it not coming together, or why is it not rising, or why, a lot of different factors. So it's okay, it's good and moist right now. A little bit more in my hands. All right, that's nice and ratty, they call it. So right now we're going to turn the camera off. We're going to put a wet towel over the top of it, let it sit for an hour until it doubles in size, and then we'll get back to separating it. Then this type of dough we're going to want to put into a refrigerator for 24 to 48 hours so that all the enzymes can break down and the sugars can break down, and it allows the yeast to work at a slower rate, which gives it more flavor and more flakier crust. So that being said, thanks for watching so far. Now, as you can see, after an hour, we put it in the oven with a towel, a wet towel over the top of it. And we have this feature on our oven that allows us to put bread proofing in there. And it runs about 95 degrees. So we left it in there an hour, and look at the expansion. It's doubled in size. It's a beautiful, nice, soft dough. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take it out and we're going to separate it. Beautiful piece of dough. So now we're going to roll it out a little bit, and I'm going to separate it into 4 equal dough balls. Okay, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? We took our pizza dough ball out, and we got our gram scale. The whole dough ball weighs about 800 grams. we want about 250 to 265 grams per 12-inch pizza. So this dough ball will make about three dough balls. I get my handy cutter. I'm going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to cut it in half again. And we'll weigh them out. We'll weigh them out to about 250. It's 219. 249, close enough. Then we're going to stretch it. Seal it. Another 250. They don't have to be perfect, but close as 223, that's not close enough. 240, and that'll be 250. Again, we're going to want to stretch them and roll them. 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 Stretch them and roll. So let the gluten work in the dough. We'll put it in our pan, and we'll just take this and make this one big. This could be closer to a 14-inch pizza. But again, you want to stretch it and roll. Stretch it and roll. Stretch it and roll. Nice and easy. Well, that's our first 3 pizza dough balls. Now we'll get a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to put it on the top of the dough to keep it from sticking. Let's do a little bit of olive oil. Keep it from sticking to the pan while it's fermenting. Now you're going to put these in the refrigerator for 24 to 48 hours. And after that time period, they'll be expanded again. And then we'll go to roll them out, and we'll show you how to top them and bake them in the oven for the perfect thin crust pizza. Okay, we've had our dough in the refrigerator for about 6 hours. We brought it out, preheated our oven to 500 degrees, and we are going to roll the dough out now. Put a little flour on here to soften it up a little bit. Press it down. Push it with our fingers to the edges. Dough's risen pretty nice. It's got some nice air pockets. It seems to be rolling out really nice. We want to get this out to be about a 12-inch pizza, so we'll stretch this out. We'll try to make a semi-thin pizza out of this one. We're not going to use our roller. We're going to try and keep as much air in the dough as possible. And it's not fighting me, so it's really nice. Nice and airy. And then we're going to put some sauce. Some tomato sauce, which we'll supply with recipes as time goes on for the dough. And for the sauce, we're just trying to stretch this out as thin as possible without having to use a roller, because when you use a roller, you start pressing out all the air pockets, and we want to kind of keep that air pocket so that when it's cooked out of the oven, it's nice and fresh. All right, so it's not shrinking back on me, so that means it's really, really in great shape. So we're going to use our pizza sauce. Right now I'm using a pastorelli pizza sauce, and we try to push it all the way to the edge, just to keep it, push it to the edge to keep the edges from burning. Because we're going to be cooking this in the oven at 500 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. We're using fresh mozzarella, and these are sausage chunks that I bought pre-cooked. They work really good for, like, if you want to make frozen pizzas and put them back in the freezer. And fresh mozzarella. Beautiful. May as well use it all.
Hi, I'm Jason Knowles. Whopping water bill complaints. One, a vacant home. The city water bill for more than $235,000. More customers who are...
All right, look at that. Beautiful. Now we're going to put it in the oven and cook it at 8 to 10 minutes. I've got my stone in there, and I've preheated the oven to 500 degrees for the last hour. So let's head that way. Okay, we're back. We're going to pull this pizza out of the oven, and we're going to show you what a good pizza looks like. A nice homemade sausage pizza. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You know, the video's a little crude and the instructions were a little rough, but I've been doing this for almost 40 years, and it just shows you how easy making a homemade pizza can be. This is a beautiful pizza. It's a sausage. It's a 12-inch. It's a little thicker crust. If you were to roll it out with a roller and get it down really thin, you can make it as thin as you want. This one, usually let it sit for about 30 seconds before you cut into it, and then enjoy the fruits of your labor. Anyway, thanks for visiting. We're going to get a little more polished as time goes on. We're going to get our studio up and running, our backdrops in, and as soon as that's all done, we're going to start selling some product. We're going to be able to supply you with all the ingredients you saw today and the tools necessary to do this from your home or from your pizza oven that you might have on your deck. A lot of people are buying them today. It's getting to be a very popular item for people to entertain on their deck. So anyway, thanks for visiting pizzaeddie.com, and share and like this as much as you possibly can, because we're looking to make this a nice hobby. Thank you. Bye-bye. Far